Welcome to Air Cargo Update. This is Mohammed Irshad. Today we are excited to dive into the world of air freight excellence with one of the true industry giant, the Emirates SkyCargo. Joining with us today is the Division Senior Vice President of Emirates SkyCargo, Mr. Nabil Sultan. Welcome to our show, sir.
Thank you, Irshad. Thank you for having me.
So let me navigate our viewers through this cargo airline for a better understanding before we move on to a conversation. Emirates SkyCargo, established in 1985 as a cargo division of Emirates Airlines. Basically, it started from Dubai International Airport. The first inaugural flights was to Mumbai from India and Karachi in the Pakistan. Back then, it was powered by Airbus A300 and Boeing 737-300. Today, the same airlines has been the world's largest international cargo airlines, connecting the world destination for more than 140 destinations, basically across 85 plus countries and around 6 continents. Today, the operation hubs for Emirates SkyCargo is Dubai International Airport and DWC. And also, it is one amongst the 4 largest air cargo airlines in volume. Now, the fleet is around 270 wide-body aircraft, including the 11 freighters, exclusively for cargo movements. So that's how they started the history, and now it is a history. So moving on to the conversation, Nabil, can you explain about the air cargo industry at this point of time? Because air cargo industry has had so many fluctuations itself. You have been in this industry for past 3 decades. So you have seen all the ups and downs. We faced pandemic, we faced humanitarian crisis, we faced climate crisis, as well as the wars which is going on today. So how is the Emirates perspective to capitalize these challenges and opportunities?
Thank you, Irshad. I think, of course, just to set probably the scene, Emirates has grown through the ups and downs, how the economy has worked, and of course, with all the geopolitical scene that we have in the region, the different sort of disasters, wars, pandemics that we've had around the world and in this part of the world. So, we've kind of maneuvered our way and continue to sort of operate in a very sort of strong, robust way moving forward. Of course, from Emirates' perspective, I think it's quite important for us to stay on the course, to stay focused and ensure that we continue to provide the needed capacity to serve the region and the globe. So for us, of course, it was absolutely essential for us to ensure that we continue to grow over the last 3+ decades, ensure that we continue to operate the right type of aircraft. And again, for us, the 777ER that came in as a passenger aircraft that has given us a substantial capacity from a belly perspective. In addition then to the A380 that we have received, which we have almost about 110 aircraft of. And of course, the combination of these 2 aircraft have really given us a substantial capacity on the belly. And of course, when you combine that with our vast network and reach, number of destinations that we operate to, more than about 150 destinations, with a high number of frequency to a lot of major cities, secondary cities, it just gives you that massive reach with incredible capacity to almost every nook and corner around the world. And I think that's what Emirates is all about. We don't have a narrow body type aircraft. It's all wide body, it's all substantial capacity, and nothing less than a daily operation to even the smallest city or town that we operate to. And I think that what makes probably the big difference from Emirates' perspective in terms of providing that reach to every single city, town, secondary city around the world. And I think that's quite unique. You have other operators probably today who still operate to a vast network, but again, when you have a narrow body aircraft, there's hardly any capacity left for cargo uplift. With us, it's not like that. It is actually a substantial capacity. So when we talk about being almost the largest international operator around the world in terms of freight ton per kilometer, it's also the reach that we have and the capacity we provide into these secondary markets is so unique. It's second to none. And I think that's what makes the difference. The ability for us to move a lot of these sort of shipments, different type of cargo, commodity, straight into the market from the production market makes it quite unique for us. It's unmatchable simply because of the consistency of our capacity that we have across the whole entire network. And of course, with that, we have also sort of grown our hub, our capability in the hub. So today, we manage close to about 2.5 million ton annual throughput through both DXB and DWC. DWC, of course, is the home for our freighter operation, and that has grown substantially since we've opened back in 2014, where we've expanded that capacity, and today we move almost close to about 1 million ton annual throughput, just looking after the freighter operation. And again, I think the ability to process cargo with different sort of requirement in terms of providing a cool chain facility, ensuring that we have different sort of areas for perishable that moves and processes high volume of perishable that moves into Dubai and to neighboring sort of countries and catchment area. And of course, looking after a range of products that consist of AVI, oil and gas, electronics, and so on, and the list goes on. So I think what's so unique about us is the fact that we've kind of almost specialized in moving different products related to different industries, and I think that's quite important for us to really understand and get closer to these different industries and understand what is their requirement, how can we sort of align our product offering, our requirement to ensure that these commodities are moved safely, without any damage, on time. And I think these are the areas that we kind of paid a lot of attention to. So for us, it's no longer about moving cargo from A to B. It's about moving specialized commodity from A to B, and how do we sort of manage it, how do we handle it, and how do we ensure that it arrives to the final destination safely. From a customer point of view, if you want to buy yourself a peace of mind, then we have the solution. And I think that's what we offer.
As you said, the Emirates SkyCargo connects 2/3 of world's population within a span of 8 hours, and you had an impressive 7% of increase in the air freight growth last year. And having said that, what about the revenue generation strategies you have built up for coping up with the industry ecosystem?
I think the main strategy is really, how do you create a repeat business? How do you ensure that the product offering that you're giving out there, the customers are satisfied with it? And as I said earlier, if you want to buy a peace of mind today with high value shipment or with a special shipment, in my perspective today, you hand it over to Emirates, and there's almost a high reliability factor that promises that we will deliver on time, no matter what, we will deliver the shipment safely. And I think creating that repeat business is so essential from our business perspective. The other component, of course, is, as I said, ensuring that we are always close to the market, we are close to the manufacturers and to different industry to really understand their requirement, and that does help our revenue stream in ensuring that we devise products that actually relevant and make sense for a lot of these industries. You go across the board today with a lot of industries, and almost all of them face challenges when it comes to supply chain and logistics. How do we sort of understand these sort of areas of challenges, and how can we sort of come up with solution to address some of those challenges is so critical. This is attention to detail and being able to, I guess, be far more closer to your customer, as opposed to assume that you know the solution and you're just moving cargo. So I think these are the areas that again help us sort of build our revenue, create almost a differentiating factor between us and those who are around us in the same business. And I think that's quite crucial. Other than that, of course, we have built a specialized product, which we continue to sort of innovate in terms of finding the right sort of technology, innovation, robotics, to ensure that we're also come up with these different products to again help different industries. we will continue to do that. And I think classic example of that is that we have, last year we've launched life science as one of the major pillar and a product on top of our pharma product, which has been quite unique. Again, we've seen substantial movement within the healthcare sort of institutions around the world for moving, blood samples, different types of equipments that requires a different and special handling. And therefore, we literally have to, again, go back to the drawing board, define some of these sort of parameters, and then come up with the right solutions for these organizations. So we're almost like partnering directly with a lot of these different health institutions to understand, again, what are the complexity behind moving a blood sample across the world and be able to sort of deliver it in a safe manner, much more faster than the normal traditional, even courier today that you have. And again, I think our ability to move things much more faster, that's, I guess, what air freight is all about, is the fact that we already have a vast network. We already have the reach to a lot of destinations around the world with wide body type aircraft. So there's nothing that stops us literally from moving some of these sensitive temperature controlled products, items into different parts of the world almost seamlessly. And I think that's, again, what actually creates that new revenue stream for us. So like that, I think we'll continue to innovate, we'll continue to sort of look for opportunities, areas that needs addressing, and come up again with unique solutions.
As you said, in 2016 you started Sky Pharma, and today you're the world's largest pharmaceutical handling facility you have. How did it go well for you for in such a short period of time to become that tycoon in this particular subject? Was it the focus was more on the pharma side, or you have 10 verticals, and recently you announced new products under life sciences and healthcare vertical as well. So even you are active on live animal side. So all these factors, how it's going well for you? I mean, you're more into the Sky Pharma, and it came very right when it was pandemic for us. So you were the flag bearers when it came for the rescue of the world.
Look, I mean, I remember almost 7 years ago, when we attempted to sort of venture into the pharma product. And I recall at that time, of course, when we spoke to our customers, the big pharma manufacturing houses, I mean, obviously no one would touch us with a bat at the time, simply because we just did not have the capability. In addition to that, of course, you have the perceptions that who would want to sort of transit pharma through the GCC countries when temperature here in the summer gets to almost 50 degrees. Didn't make sense. And I think that was the challenge at the time. And we felt that, okay, I mean, if those are the sort of parameters, what is it that we need to do? And again, we've gone back to the drawing board. We've looked at the whole entire pharma product from scratch to understand exactly what are the sort of operational challenges that we have, and how can we sort of actually purpose build infrastructure, facility, capability, process, people, and train them in a way to allow us to actually start moving pharma through Dubai. And I think that was the challenge that was presented right at the top. And literally we had to take each item and go through the minute detail to understand what would it require. And I think what we've done, actually, we've obviously created now or purpose-built facility both at DXB and DWC. The combination of both the facilities that we have is roughly about, I would say, 30,000 square meter area, fully purposely built for pharmaceutical. It has different sort of temperature control, starting almost from negative temperature to +8, +25, depending on the commodity and the product requirement. We have actually acquired special cool dollies to handle the offloading of these shipments from the aircraft and bring it to the warehouse under completely temperature controlled environment. We have built the additional technology in the aircraft to maintain different temperature. So, and this is the sort of level of detail that we had to go through, put in the investment of creating these infrastructure, which is again designed for only pharmaceutical. And I remember we've had a number of pharmaceutical companies who came to sort of inspect our facility. And they were shocked with the process that we have laid out, with the facility and the infrastructure that we have built. I mean, I recall one of the gentlemen were saying that, this looks like a hospital. It doesn't look like a cargo facility. But that was the intention, is to actually create that sort of environment in terms of hygiene, cleanness, and give it almost the touch, feel, look of a real, like you walk into a hospital, not a cargo facility. And that was the intention. And that facility still looks the same today. I think every time our pharma manufacturers come and look at our facility, which they do come and inspect sometime randomly to see what's happening, they're absolutely impressed with it. And I think that what kept us really apart from the rest of the hordes. And I think it was important for us to sort of make sure that this facility remains absolutely intact. And of course, on top of that, then you have the training of the individual. So how do you have a dedicated team who's trained to handle pharma? Because this is not a general cargo. There's hygiene involved, so people had different uniforms, different way of handling it. So that whole entire training we have to literally go through. Today, our entire facility, both at DXV and DWC, are certified GDP compliance, the international standard compliance for moving pharma around the world. During the pandemic, we had the Ministry of Health come and inspect our facility, and they have awarded us the certification actually now to move pharma within that facility. So it meets the global standard of moving, transiting all types of different pharmaceutical, including, of course, the vaccine that we've had during the pandemic, which was so essential. And of course, the vaccine, like the Pfizer, had to be sort of kept under almost minus 75 degree. So how do you achieve that? How do you maintain that? And then how do you move a lot of these commodities into the third world countries in Africa where there's hardly any infrastructure? So we literally had to build the process. We had to ensure that there's enough quantities going to these countries that they can almost consume it the same day, and next day they'll be replenished with another set of quantity. That's the level of detail that we have to look at, because simply the hospitals and the infrastructure in these countries are nowhere near being able to sort of maintain this sort of vaccines at such a low temperature. So this is some of the work that we had to literally do, and that's why I think Dubai was almost the hub for providing these vaccines for a lot of countries around this area, and also globally, all the way to South America and other part of the world where they've literally dependent on Emirates' daily supply of these vaccines as we continue sort of to push our flights to some of these destinations, and during the pandemic. So it's a great story, but again, there's a lot of work that has gone behind it. And I think today we have almost developed a reliability factor with most of the manufacturers. They understand that when we put a product, it's serious. There's enough thinking that has gone behind it to ensure that we will deliver as promised, with all the sort of gadgets and the requirements that we could sort of have to also give the manufacturer the visibility and the tracking capability of the movements. We're not just one big black box. Once the shipment's given to us, they have no clue. No, there's a proper tracking. There's all of that is definitely being built within the product offering to ensure that customers are aware of what's happening to their shipment about the whole entire supply chain. So I think, yeah, it's been a great journey. We've learned a hell of a lot, I would say, over the last 6-7 years. And I think there's still a lot more in the pipeline that one needs to sort of still look at.
Great. That's why we call Emirates as people's favorite as well.
Oh, we're pleased to be people's favorite, of course.
Exactly. Coming on to collaborations, partnerships, these are the focal points of any business we run. When it comes to Emirates, we want some highlights from Emirates SkyCargo. How is it going? For example, to say you have collaborated along with Air Cargo Canada and much more companies. So I want some lights to be shed on this particular subject as well.
The partnership has to make sense. There has to be a real value in this partnership. Otherwise, it's a waste of effort, time, energy. And I think, we've been quite strategic in terms of selecting our partners, and our partners also selecting us. It's a mutual benefit, and I think there's a number of airlines where we've seen the common value goal between both the airlines. Air Canada is one of those that we've chose to sort of partner with, both on the passenger side and on the cargo side. United is the second operator that we've sort of looked at in terms of, joint cooperation. And I think the cooperation have really worked very well, I must say. And again, I think there's synergy between both of us. Clearly, I think you look at an operator like United that has a vast network within North America, South America, and Europe, which actually makes perfect sense for us because we have a vast network into Europe. And of course, doing that cooperation allows us to sort of use a lot of our European gateway point to move cargo beyond Europe to USA and South America, and actually take advantage of their South American network or North American network, while they also have the same equal advantage from their perspective where they can feed into our European gateway, where we have massive capacity into Dubai and then beyond Dubai to Far East, Australia, West Asia, and so on. There's a lot of synergy and complementing sort of networks that, if combined, obviously, gives the customer a lot of advantage in terms of reach, capability, which strengthen both our customer proposition. And of course, we've chosen these partners very carefully to ensure that they're also equipped with the right product capability and ability to sort of do things almost similar to what we do or even better. And I'm sure they would have had the same criteria also. But clearly an operator like Air Canada has been incredible. I mean, Canada is a massive country, and we've with their cooperation, again with their network into Europe, I think we've done a lot of sort of work together to ensure that from a customer perspective, customer sort of interaction, the journey that we have for the shipment becomes absolutely seamless. We've allowed customers to book on each other's sort of metal seamlessly, and I think these are the things that makes a huge difference from our perspective. But so far, I think both the partnership has worked exceptionally well.